I've lived in Shawnee for 20 years, raised a family here. Both my kids attended Shawnee High School. Lived in the same place in Ward 4. Ward 4 is the southeast kind of quadrant of the city. It's a favorite place of mine, of course, because I live there. I really didn't have any preconceived expectations. I knew the job was not going to be easy. I knew it was going to be, difficult at times. So that's proven to be so. Probably the biggest surprise to me is all the preparation work. There's a lot more reading before the council meetings than what I really thought it would be. I even take time to go drive around and look at some of the things that are being, requested for rezoning and things like that. So some of the prep work, ahead of the council meetings is actually, quite a bit more than what I would have ever anticipated. I knew that there would be some calls, both good and bad from citizens. You can't always please everyone, and I knew that going in. I will say that fortunately I've had a lot more good calls than I've had bad calls at this point. One of the biggest assets that we have is the citizens themselves. I think we're really blessed to have some very good people in Shawnee, a very diverse group of people, diverse backgrounds. We have some very smart people in Shawnee that like to help out where they can and participate in different functions of the city and private civic clubs that help our city. So that's definitely a big asset. We're centrally located, close to I-40, so I think that's a big advantage too for us. We're close enough to Oklahoma City where hopefully we can attract people from Oklahoma City to here for shopping, but still yet we want to attract people that live here and may work in Oklahoma City as well, because our job force isn't that as big as what we want it to be right here in Shawnee city limits. Well, as far as opportunities right now, I think the biggest one before us is our city pool that we're going to put in Woodlands Park. I think it's going to be a showplace for an example, not only for our state, but in the Midwest. We have really high hopes that that's going to be something that every citizen will be proud of. It will attract people here, and more importantly, it's going to provide a little bit extra around the quality of life for our citizens. So we're very excited about that, and hopefully, the citizens of our county will take advantage of it as well. As far as Ward 4 itself, there's some new homes going in for the elderly. I'm kind of excited about that. I think it's a really nice project. It's for the absentee Shawnee tribe, but it's something that's needed. It will help the ward. It's in an area right now that doesn't have any housing in it, so I'm excited about that project as well. Our challenges are like a lot of cities our size, and probably even larger cities and smaller cities. Our biggest challenge is funding. We have lots of needs, and we have lots of things that we would like to do. We don't have enough money. Our tax base isn't as large as what we would like it. We're limited on our source of income, and therefore we have to really prioritize how we spend our money. We've got to certainly take care of all of the things that we have to take care of, public safety, health, water, infrastructure, those type of needs. And once all of those things are paid for, it leaves very little funding for, some of the stuff that we would like to do. So we're going to have to look, learn how to be creative and solve some of these funding problems going forward in order to provide the projects, the programs, the services that our citizens deserve. The biggest way that our citizens can help is spend money locally, to be honest. Try to shop as much as you can here in Shawnee. I encourage my family, my wife, to shop here as much as possible, and they do. We visit downtown and buy things, on Main Street, a little market down there that my wife, I think she goes to it 2 or 3 times a week. She visits that place. We want to encourage all the citizens to shop, locally. Because that's our primary source of funding is the sales tax revenue. Other ways that citizens can get involved perhaps and help out is if they're entrepreneurial, start a new business here in Shawnee. I think that would be really good. If you're thinking about going into business, there's opportunities out there. There's economic help available to start businesses, and there's some facilities here that would certainly welcome an opportunity for a new startup company. There's been 2 or 3 decisions I think that was controversial and difficult, but as a commission I believe that we came to the right answer. One of those is the pension program for our staff. The truth is that looking forward in the future we had to do something. The unfunded portion of it was at risk. I mean, it was a liability to the city that potentially we wouldn't be able to pay for. And we think with all of the discussion that took place and involvement from the staff and listening to what they needed and what they wanted, I think we ended up with a really good options for our staff going forward that's still going to help the citizens of Shawnee to where we can continue to pay for the retirement program. I think that our infrastructure is going to continue to require more and more capital spending in order to get it up to where it needs to be to support the citizens that we have today and the future growth. There's a study underway right now on our water system. I believe that the outcome of that study in a few months will result in a capital needs program that's quite extensive. So how we pay for that is going to be another big question mark. The city streets, there's a lot of city streets right now that are in need of repair. We do a little every year, probably need to do more. There's several projects like that as far as what I would call infrastructure projects that we really need to focus on. And again, funding is going to be the key there on how we solve that funding problem for those projects. I guess what I would, like people to know, and I think most of them do know, that all of the city commissioners are doing this on a volunteer basis. There is no hidden agendas as far as I've seen. There is, people leave the egos at the door. We try to work well together, and I believe we do work well together. It is a lot more effort than probably what the average citizen realizes. Bear with us. We're not always going to make the decisions that pleases everybody, but all of us, all 7 commissioners, have the best interest of the city in our minds when we make those decisions.